Okay, so this next one is like came out of from nowhere or left field. I was like,
oh my God, yeah.
When he hit you, it was sort of like this person basically has touched everyone who's living today, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with what we use.
Absolutely. He's absolutely amazing.
I've often wondered if he was ever influenced by the Beatles. You know why? Apple Records.
Maybe so. Macintosh. Apple Macintosh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we could ask. Write that down. I'll ask it
on
next
the next
time.
interview.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's Brian White. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 35 of Celebrity Soul Speak with Brian and Renee. Interviews from the other side. Steve Jobs. My wife, Renee, is a spirit communicator. She speaks to those on the other side, and I've been a radio personality for over 50 years. The other side established communication with us because they wish to stay in touch with this dimension. They are our teachers, the invisible knowledge that helps us on our way. They have much to share and hope that those who listen will reflect on their messages.
I like to believe there's an afterlife. I like to believe the accumulated wisdom doesn't just disappear when you die, but somehow it endures. Steve Jobs, 1955 to 2011. Stephen Paul Jobs was an American inventor, designer, entrepreneur, and the co-founder, chief executive, and chairman of Apple Computer. Apple's revolutionary products are now seen as dictating the evolution of modern technology. Born in 1955 to two University of Wisconsin graduate students who gave him up for adoption, Jobs was smart but directionless, dropping out of college and experimenting with different pursuits before co-founding Apple with Steve Wozniak in 1976. Jobs left the company in 1985, launching Pixar Animation Studios, then returned to Apple more than a decade later. Jobs died in Palo Alto on October 5, 2011, after battling pancreatic cancer for nearly a decade. He was 56 years old. In a eulogy for Jobs, Sister Mona Simpson wrote that just before dying, Jobs looked for a long time at his sister Patty, then his wife and children, then past them, and said his last words, "Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow." This is the best kind of surprise. Steve Jobs said, "I'm aware of who you are and what you are doing. I give you a lot of credit for putting yourself out there in this environment. Most have not embraced the afterlife and are skeptics, to say the least." I speak to those who'll listen, and hopefully those who don't believe will still hear the message. I can't change people's minds. I can only put it out there. Steve Jobs said, "That's right." You know all about that, don't you? Steve said, "I sure do." Well, what would you like to discuss? Steve said, "Well, that's a very deep subject. There is so much to talk about." Well, how do you eat an elephant? Steve said, "Haha, all right." So, first I would like to know what you saw as you were leaving this earth. It said that your last words were, "Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow." Is this true? Steve said, "I saw a beautiful light, and there were people all around. My friends and family that had passed over. It was an amazing feeling releasing from the body, kind of like snapping a balloon. And then I was free. I could see everything that was happening to my body, and I didn't care. I was not tied to it anymore. I did see my family and others whom I loved, and they were upset, but I had no way to tell them it was okay. I was there for a short time, and then I was told it's time to go. My parents and others were with me, and we went to this place where I was told I would reside for the time being until I decide what I want to do. It was much like Earth, but the people there were not like humans. I had a choice of how I would appear to others, and I chose to be college age, some of the best times of my life. There were vehicles flying like the Jetsons, and there were balls of light floating. There were buildings that looked similar to ours, but the sky was a strange color, and I just felt out of place. I was taken to a place where I was given choices about how I would spend what they called the immediate, and I chose to relax at the beach. I was suddenly there. The colors were unlike any I have ever seen. The sky was pinkish, and the water was a color blue that is unknown on Earth. They told me to relax, and soon I would begin the process of transitioning my soul to this environment. I don't know if this is the experience that all have, but it is confusing at first and a little scary, to be honest. After a while, you realize that this is the afterlife and you are okay. There are many meetings with your team and advisors. It's daunting to have so many people involved in this process. There are angels and others I am not familiar with yet. There is your soul team, who are the ones that you can communicate with when you are on Earth. I didn't know that. And there are your friends and family and others who just want to help you. I saw many inventors like Edison and Einstein who wanted to spend time with me to talk about how we can help mankind. I went through what is called a life review, and that is a process where you are shown your life basically and how you related to others and treated others. You are asked to judge yourself, and that is where you are told what your life mission was. You will have to make a choice at some point about whether you feel you have completed your training and whether you need to revisit Earth or somewhere else to finish. You have options. I chose to stay there for now until I can see all of my options. I certainly contributed to mankind, but I was also just a human. And as such, there were missteps along my way that I need to decide whether to accept or correct them. Wow, Steve, I'm speechless. Steve said, "You have no idea what is waiting for you. This life you are living on Earth is a mere blink of the eye. Did you have any idea how important you were when you were here? Steve said, I knew that we had figured something out that would change humanity. I never looked at that I was special. I saw it as a team of us that worked together to make this happen. Are you still involved in inventing? Steve said, no. I'm taking a break from the Earth experience and will eventually decide what my next venture will be. Right now, I'm just enjoying myself. So do you socialize with the likes of Einstein and Tesla? Yes. Sometimes we chat about ideas we had there but didn't get to complete. There are also so many other societies on other planets that are still discovering the most rudimentary of inventions. Do you mentor people here? Steve said, yes. I have started to take on students that I believe I can help. I have talents other than inventing, and I pick people that I can do different things for. The following comments were of a personal nature, and I wasn't going to include them, only because I'm not being interviewed, he is, and I don't like the dialogue too much. Then I decided you need to hear this dialogue. So, Steve, can you help me become a musician? I'm just kidding. Steve said, unfortunately, that is not one of my skills. But there are many, many here who would be happy to help you. You have created a buzz here. Most who contact us want something for themselves. We see that you are pure of intent and wish to help mankind. That is why you are experiencing those of us who are not so patient coming to you. We wish to be part of your project because we know that sooner or later it will be recognized as a genuine effort to elevate mankind and an effort to help those of us who still want to be of service to Earth. Well, thank you for that. I'm so overwhelmed by your kindness and willingness to share this information with the world. Mankind needs to know this is not the end. They need to realize that there is more than just this excursion, and they need to realize that we have a duty to live a proper life, taking care of each other and the Earth instead of just looking out for number one. I truly hope that during my life here, I'm able to help in some way to accomplish this. I would like to leave this place knowing that I did all that I could to spread these messages. There are so many of you that have so much more to say, and if my planet mates would just listen, if they could open their minds to listen to the very people that they respected here, why won't they believe you are still invested here? Why won't they believe in the afterlife? What can we do to help them see? Steve said, there have been many who have tried, and some have succeeded, others not. You cannot make the horse drink. Your job is to lead him to the water. What he does after that is not yours. You're doing what you were supposed to do. Never blame yourself for the lack of humanity. Keep doing what you are doing. You are doing the best you can. The only losers are those who quit. You are not a loser, and we will do the best we can from here to help you. There are many who desire to be included in this project. I know that you are only one person and a novice at that. Do not be overwhelmed. Just do your best. That's all we can ever ask. You know, I'm so lucky. I get to speak to people who I never would have had the chance to speak to when they were alive. I have the best interviews that nobody knows about yet. Steve says, yet. Hang in there. There's so much more to discuss. May I call on you for another conversation? Steve says, absolutely. You call on me anytime. Keep your chin up. Thank you. Thanks for listening. We hope that you find value in our conversations with those passed over. I'm learning so much about life here and there. Hope you are too. The end.
Thanks for joining us. Join Celebrity Souls Speak on Facebook at facebook.com/The Celebrity Souls Speak. And check out Renee's blog at commonsenseinwilmingtonnc.blogspot.com. Sense spelled CENTS.